The Renters' Rights Bill is getting further along the line for becoming law and coming into place. The biggest change in the private renter sector for as long as I've been alive, since 1988 Housing Act. But some changes that they're proposing in that have gone in that have been spoke about. Number one being pets. If pets have to be considered by any landlords, obviously some circumstances don't allow it with leaseholds and leases and whatever else, an additional deposit to be put into place, which has been voted against. Again, I think it's a good idea. The amount of times that, look, some people with their pets are great, other people with their pets just aren't, and it's not the tenants that cause the damage, it is the pets. So having an additional deposit to be put into place, I think seems fair. The second one is, which most landlords that I speak to are more afraid of, is around if you are going to sell your property. So give your tenants the new Section 8 notice to say, I'm selling my property, please, I'd like it back. I'm going to put it on the market for sale. It was 12 months if you couldn't re-let the property for. They're now proposing 6 months, again, which people are opposing. I get it, some landlords may choose to give notice to say that they're selling their property so they can just re-rent it to somebody else for maybe for a higher price. I don't know those types of landlords. I don't really deal with those types of landlords. If a landlord comes to me to try and say that, I would highly advise them against it. But 6 months seems to be a fair penalty, because if a property is sold and then it falls through, and then we're in a different kind of market where it's not probably the right time to be able to sell that property, I think 6 months is a fair rule on that. And I was having a conversation with somebody, a landlord I know this morning, just around if I knew anybody who had any properties, 3 bedrooms in a certain area, that I could try and help them, because they're selling their property. They're on hard times. They've had to sell their property. They're not employed, but they were looking to pay 12 months up front. He wasn't aware that come this new legislation, potentially that couldn't happen. People in those types of scenarios, they sold their house, they haven't got employment to be able to show income. They could potentially look at doing it on savings, but are landlords more or less likely to take someone on savings? It is a minefield. However, it will be tough for landlords, but this whole change will be extremely tough for tenants, because landlords will have a different mindset of what kind of tenants they're looking to take and maybe what they're doing in their properties. I can just see property rental prices going up again, as they have done for so long. But this whole thing's meant to be trying to stop that. And I suppose the market, when they say about rent caps, and how we can look at doing rent caps, it only gives a landlord once a year to be able to increase the rent, and you can't then do it again from the previous years, 2 years, to do it twice at a certain level. More tenants are just going to be paying more every year. I know so many landlords that don't increase rents because the tenants are good, they've looked after the properties. But I think now it's going to be most landlords just increasing rent at the percentage that they give us on top of the base rate, whatever it is, each and every year. Exciting times, tough times, but landlords and tenants, you need to be prepared for this, because the fines are going to be huge if you mess up. They are already, with anything that you mess up on that you might not know about, that you forget about, that slips your mind, that you haven't got around to doing. Fines are going to be huge. It's going to be really, really exciting, maybe not exciting, but interesting times for tenants and landlords. We're going to go through this together. I'm here to help anybody that just wants to have that conversation around, what do I need, how do I need to do it, and what are my potential risks? Because I've spoken to numerous landlords over the past few weeks and months that don't have certain paperwork in place because they didn't know about it. It's not because they're trying not to do it, didn't know about it, and their potential for fines on those. One of them, we stacked up about 70 grand worth of potential fines. We've managed to get everything in place to be able to make sure that he's fully up to standard, looked after by a great agent, but most just safe and secure. But the tenants are happy. Things happen, but exciting, nervous, worrying times, but make sure that you understand what you need to do and how you need to do it. Watch out for more updates.